Great. Okay. Welcome to Connected Core. So we are going to combine some birth fit basic movements, some dynamic neuromuscular stabilization exercises, fancy name for core exercises. Oh, great. Jordan is joining us, along with some somatic exercises to help balance our nervous system. The intention of the Connected Core class, whether you are, and I know we have participants here who are 20 weeks pregnant, hopefully 38 weeks pregnant, joining in later on. We've got the full range of postpartum, which is forever. So really, if you've just ever been pregnant, you have had a postpartum period. So these exercises are phenomenal because they combine breath work, forgot that one, breath work, somatic exercises, the birth fit basics, and DNS exercises to not only engage, activate, heal, recover your core and pelvic floor, but also just make you more connected to yourself, help your nervous system regulate so it's in this lovely state where it can dance in and out of all and do all the things that it needs to do to keep you feeling good, moving good, connected and grounded. So movement and breath work is a conversation that you have with your body. I'm going to guide you through a little bit of this today, but there's going to be moments when we're going to be talking to our bodies and telling it what to do. But then there's going to be moments where it's really important for you to listen to what your body is trying to tell you. Okay. So in that spirit, if I tell you something to do and you don't like it or your body doesn't like it, then listen. I usually throw out a couple modifications or options as we go. Here's an example. If I tell you 12 and you're like 6 feels good, then 6 it is. It doesn't really matter. We're here just to kind of move and connect. These are great practices to help with postpartum recovery, but also with birth prep. There's a lot of overlap between the movements that we do here and, let's say, like spinning babies exercises. So with all that said, let's get started. Find a comfortable seat, or you can lay down on your back. So Carly, 20-ish weeks pregnant is usually where we try to avoid laying down on your back.
Yeah, I haven't been able to lay down on my back for a while because I ripped my stomach muscle and I can't get up. Yeah, there we go.
Yes, so find a comfortable seat. I'm sitting on a ball. That's a great option. You can sit cross-legged. If you want to lay on your back, you can. Knees bent. Find something maybe even to support your back, the back of a couch or an ottoman, and we're going to warm up our breathing here. So we're going to start with 5 inhale, exhales. On your exhale, I want you to, I don't care how you breathe in. If you can breathe in through your nose, great. But I want your exhale to empty out all the air that's in your lungs, and I want it to come out of your mouth so that you make some sort of a noise, some sort of an auditory exhale here. So it could just be a sigh, a fogging of a mirror kind of thing. It could even be a word, a hiss, an S sound, or one of my favorites, a big exasperated exhale. Okay, so give me 5 of those. And use these breaths to help you arrive here. You did it. You made it here. You logged on. It's 8 o'clock on a Saturday morning. So you obviously already exhaled out some excuses and some reasons why to not be here. So very proud of you for that. In that sense, after our 5 exhales, you can always close your eyes with these. It might help you kind of center yourself. Give yourself a hug, cross your hands over your shoulders. And I want you to tap slowly, like kind of forcefully too, like give yourself these big taps one at a time. as you start to inhale and exhale through your nose. And we're going to start to deepen that inhale so that you feel it expanding into your belly, into your low back, into your sides, breathing 360 degrees around. As we continue this tapping, Kate, be very gentle with your hand. All right, switch your hand. So if you had your right arm on top, put it underneath, but I want you to continue this. And we're going to start to move into, with our it's called a butterfly hug. It helps your nervous system. While we continue our inhales, this time I want you to inhale double. So you're going to inhale, and then exhale it all out. Okay. While we tap this, this is like patting your head and inhale, exhale. The double inhale can be helpful for you to really feel this 360-degree expansion of breath. So your first inhale may just kind of take your lungs down a little bit. But that second inhale, I want you to use it to really feel your breath expand into your back. If it's your low back, that's fantastic. If it's just kind of around where your bra strap is or your lats hit in the back, that's great. Okay, just a few more of these. Really focusing on that double inhale. One more. Good. And I'm going to have you shake out your arms. Everybody's going to come up to a standing position. Come up to stand, and while you're coming up to stand, we're going to literally just shake things out. So we just did a bunch of breathing. Got things moving. Shake out your arms, shake out your legs. So last week and last recordings, we did a bunch of stuff on the ground. We did different versions of dead bugs and bird dogs against the wall. We're going to move, which traditionally I would love to start you with, Carly, but we're going to move into some of our oblique patterns, which are phenomenal because we never move in these planes of motion. Life happens usually by bending forward, squatting forward, picking things up. So I'm moving in the same plane of motion. We rarely ever move in an oblique plane or a sagittal plane. So by doing some exercises that work those core muscles, we're getting a full and a complete activation of our core. So we're actually going to start with some windmills this morning, unweighted. Okay, so I want you to find your a wide leg stance. Okay, and then you can adjust this as we go. All right, wide-legged stance. I'm going to take my right toes and point them out at like a 45-degree angle. And if you notice, when you do that, you should notice what happens to your hips. They may automatically kick out to the left. Okay, that's good. That's what we want to happen. So my right foot is pointing out 45 degrees. My left hip is going to kick back and to the side. So also so pretty much at the opposite 45-degree angle that my feet are pointing. Does that make sense? So I'm not going straight out and I'm not going straight back. 45-degree angle here. Okay. This sensation in your hip, this kickback, is going to be very similar to when you have your hands full, you shut your car door didn't shut all the way. So we have to kick it with our butt shut. Everybody know what I'm talking about? Okay. The left hand is going to go straight up in the air. Your right hand is going to hold, kind of, it's gonna skim down your leg, give you a little bit of feedback here. You're gonna try to look up at your left hand, kick that booty out and back, and then you're gonna slide this right hand down as far as it'll go. Let's stop at the knee. I'm gonna try to keep my gaze up on this left hand the whole entire time. And then use this hand to pull you straight up towards the ceiling. So we're gonna do a couple of these just where we're stopping at the knee. Intentionally stopping at the knee. If you know you can go farther, that's fine. But let's stop at the knee. I've got an imaginary string that's pulling this arm up towards the ceiling, okay? It's gently letting me go down, and then it's pulling me straight up. So it's the gaze up on that left hand helps. So give me about 6 to 8 of these, up and down, just to knee height, okay? Every time I move, I'm starting with that hip kick back, and then I look up at my left hand as my right hand skims down my thigh, stops at about the knee, okay? What's pulling me up towards the ceiling are my obliques, and believe it or not, your glutes and your hamstrings are working big time in this movement. Our obliques have to work in a way that they don't typically ever get to work, okay? Before we drop down and go farther than the knee, let's switch sides and try this out on the other side, okay? So my left foot is gonna kick out 45-degree angle. My right hip is gonna kick back at a 45-degree angle. My right arm is coming straight up towards the ceiling. I'm trying to look at that hand the whole entire time here. Slowly lower down. As I'm lowering my hand down towards my knee, my hip is kicking back out and back even more at this 45-degree angle. This may feel like a really lovely or intense stretch on the side booty and the inner thigh, okay? Once we have that stretch happening, we want to use our obliques and this arm to pull us straight back up. So give me about 6 to 8 of these coming just to the knee. Back up. Trying to look up at the hand the whole entire time. We haven't really talked about breath yet here because that's not necessarily the focus or the intention. As long as you keep breathing, okay? Good. So we're waking up the hips. We're waking up some muscles in the hips that don't get used a whole lot, okay? But are very important and definitely get used when you're pregnant. So let's come back to that original side. Right foot kicks out 45 degrees. If you feel like you need to have a slight bend, well, the knee should not be completely locked out. It should be soft. If it needs a little bit more of a bend, that's okay. So back to my original side. My left arm is going up, looking up towards the ceiling. Right hand is now going down my leg. My left booty kicks back and out. I'm going to slowly lower myself down. If I happen to be able to go below my knee, great. Mid shin is lovely. We might not make it to the floor just yet. Lift yourself up. We're going to do 5 of these. Going down as far as you feel comfortable going down. Your body will only let you go down as far as it can handle in terms of getting you back up safely. So listen to it. Don't push it beyond what it feels comfortable doing. If you show it after maybe a few that, hey, we're safe, I can get us back up, it might let you go down a little bit farther. When I'm hanging out down at the bottom here, I'm going to feel a really lovely stretch in my inner thigh and in my side butt cheek. Trying to look up at my hand the whole time. That hand is moving straight up and down, pulling me back up. You're gonna feel this in these obliques to bring you up. Okay. I don't know if I gave you a number, 5, 6-ish. And then we switch sides. Left foot kicks out to the side. Right arm up. Starts with that kick back of the booty. And then I slowly lower myself down. Again, this knee can bend as much as you feel like it needs to. I'm trying to keep this arm straight and feel this oblique stretch happening. I cannot go down as far on this side. My left adductor and hamstring are saying, nope, we are way too tight. So asymmetries are normal, expected. Five or so of those. When you're done with those 5, come to a comfortable standing position. One hand on your belly, one hand on your chest. We typically do this laying down. We're going to do it standing. I want you to close your eyes. Try to breathe just in and out through your nose, as deep as you need to try to catch your breath. I got a little winded from those windmills. So if you did too, that is okay. Breathe in and out through your nose. Try to fill just this lower hand up with air. The top hand should not be moving. If you want to come back to your double inhale, that is great. Trying to catch our breath by just inhaling and exhaling through your nose. Eyes are closed. I want you to feel this grounding force, it's not imaginary. Your feet are getting pulled down into the ground, especially as you exhale. And the crown of your head is getting tall and long towards the ceiling, especially when you inhale. Give me 3 more of these breaths. Just to refocus, recenter. This is your chance during this conversation with our body to listen. Yes, you're telling it how to breathe, but we're listening to the sensations that have stirred up since we told it how to do those crazy windmill movements. Let's check our waiting room here. Okay, good. Great. All right, shake things out as needed. Those oblique movements can be tough. All right, we're going to do a little bit of a cross crawl pattern here, a little bit of a very modified dead bug. Typically we do dead bugs on our back or seated. You can also do them standing. Sometimes you can't get down on the floor, you can't get to a mat. We can activate the core and do very similar movements while we're standing. It looks like it's called like a marching dead bug. Okay, you're going to shift all of your weight over onto the right foot. The left leg is going to lift. Your right hand is going to come and it's going to approach the knee. It doesn't have to completely touch. You might want to start with just fingertips, tapping the knee. We're going to go real slow and we're going to alternate sides. So I don't want you to just jump right into, okay, I'm going through this movement here. I want you to intentionally think about shifting all of your weight over onto your standing leg so that you get your booty engaged. Then your left leg can just float up and it's going to float back down. So intentionally get all the weight over into the left leg so the opposite leg can float. Real nice and slow. As you're coming across and the leg and the hand are approaching each other, I also want you to think of that motion as being driven by the muscles in your torso contracting and coming together. So we're not necessarily moving the arm and the leg towards each other. We're creating kind of a mini crunch in our torso, and that helps set us up for having the arm and the leg be very close together. Does that make sense? Very nuanced here. So you should feel this starting to warm up some core muscles and your butt. I am. Okay. Even things out, do things on the side that you haven't done the most on. And then take a break, come back to your standing resting position. And I want you to catch your breath. We're going to imagine we've got a piece of Scotch tape over our lips. Catch your breath just by breathing in and out through your nose. If you should have gotten some blood flowing with those marching dead bugs. So to help you catch your breath, the double inhale works great. Close your eyes. Feel your feet get heavy and ground you and pull you down towards the ground. When you exhale, when you inhale, make your spine a little bit straighter. You've got a string, it's coming out of the crown of your head, it's pulling you up towards the ceiling. On those inhales. Close your eyes. Take 2 breaths really intentionally to listen to what's going on in your body. What sensations are you feeling? Good sensations, warm sensations, tightness, baby moving around. What are you feeling happening inside of your body? And then open your jaw, open your mouth, stick your tongue out. I'm going to stretch your tongue. Sounds really silly. It's going to feel really good. A couple more of those. You want to couple it with an exhale. Stick your tongue out. We do a lot of tongue and we do a lot of toe stuff. Next to the big toes, tuck you guys can't really see my feet. Take 1 foot at a time. Come up onto that big toe. Like you're on a super high pair of high heels. 1 foot at a time. Stretch it that way. And then tuck your toe under and stretch it the other way. 2 more times on this foot. Stretch it like you're on a super crazy pair of stilettos. And then tuck it under. And then switch to the other foot. You might find that one is tighter than the other. Good. All right. Come on down to the ground onto all fours. See, now that we've got the toe stretched out, we can come down like this. Your big toe and your tongue connect through a very deep line of fascia, connective tissue, and they play a very integral role in your deep core and your deep pelvic floor. So I would pay attention to them. Right. We're gonna roll, make our way into all fours here. Carly, these should be totally fine for you to do. We're gonna do some gentle cat-cows, okay? In the spirit of moving the crown of the head to the bottom of the feet, I want you to think about when you come into cow, trying to get your chin and the crown of your head up as high as you can, as well as the tip of the tailbone. And then when you round your back, we're trying to get the arc, the top of the arc, right in between the shoulder blades, tucking chin and tailbone as far as they will go. Come in and out slowly of cat-cow about 10 times for me, 5 each direction. Moving very slow and intentional. If you feel like you need to add any shifting movement side to side, that's fine. Kind of in between my cat-cows. Shifting the hips. We're trying to move and create this wave that goes from tip of the tailbone all the way up through the shoulder blades and out the crown of the head. Just working within your comfortable range of motion. We're working towards moving into our oblique sit and our side plank here. That's where we're headed. We're gonna make sure that our upper back and our upper T-spine is nice and stretched out first. So we're gonna do a couple thread the needles. I'm gonna start from my all fours position. I'm taking my right hand. I'm doing this away from the camera on purpose. My right hand is gonna reach up as high towards the ceiling as it can. I'm gonna try not to shift my hips, keeping them square. Then here comes the thread the needle part. I'm gonna reach my right hand underneath, getting my shoulder to drop down to the ground. Head, shoulder, ear drops. Hang out in this position. You should feel a stretch in the back of the right shoulder. If you don't, I want you to notice what happened to your hips. Did they shift over to the left? Pull them back towards the right. And then you may start to really feel this stretch happening in the upper back. Okay, come on out of there. And we're going to alternate sides. We're going to do about 2 or 3 on each side. Okay. So this is what it looks like on my left. I'm going to reach up, just trying to open up towards the ceiling. Then I'm going to thread my hand through my shoulder. At least my shoulder is going to drop down towards the ground. If I don't feel much of a stretch in my upper back happening, I got to pay attention to what my hips are doing. So they might have shifted over to the right. Pull them back to the left so that you can feel that stretch in the upper back.
thread the needle. There's no really right or wrong way to do this. Whatever you need to do to feel this stretch happening above the bra line, between the shoulder blades. You might feel it more in the back of the shoulder. You might feel it a little bit more in the upper back. You'll feel it where you need it. Totally fine to hang out in that end, that threaded position, and take an additional big breath in and a big breath out. One more on each side. All right, so from there, we're gonna tip our all fours onto our side. Okay. So I've got my right, I'm gonna tip the camera if I can. There we go. All right. Birth fit side planks. These again are going to help us activate the oblique sling, a plane of motion that we don't necessarily train a lot of times in conventional workouts, whether it be CrossFit or functional training or whatever. But these movements are, these muscles and these patterns are super important to help support us, especially as you head into either a breastfeeding or baby carrying or bottle feeding journey. All right, so I've got my oblique sit happening here. I'm going to come out of this nice, relaxed, loungy position. I'm going to pack my shoulder. I'm going to activate my shoulder. So I've got lots of space between my torso and the floor. I'm doing that by making sure my shoulder is far away from my ears and my rib cage is far away from the ground. I'm using my whole palm and my whole forearm for support. Got my elbow under my shoulder, under my ear. Okay. The hips are stacked on top of each other. So I'm not open like this. Okay. Hips are stacked on top of each other. Knees are stacked on top of each other. My knees are bent so that my ankles or my heels are about in line with my hips. You guys can't see that from this angle. I lost my press. Okay. So just getting into this position feels weird and feels kind of funny because unless you were a gymnast, you did a ton of cartwheels, you never really spent a lot of time in this oblique plane. From here, put your hand on your belly and see if you can get those same deep belly breaths that we've been practicing. Great time to practice your double inhale to make sure that you're still breathing into the back. You can put your hand on your belly. You can put your hand with your thumb on your back. And this may be challenging already for the shoulder. Okay. If we have any shoulder imbalances or shoulder weakness, this is really challenging the core muscles that help support the shoulder. So this is a isometric strengthening exercise just by holding this position and breathing into the shoulder. If it's starting to feel funny or hurt or pinch your neck or your upper trap, I want you to really think about pulling that shoulder blade down your rib cage. And then that's just a sign that we've got some work to do. We've got some strengthening to do. Let's switch sides. You guys all look good. And again, I told you which side to do first. Well, if you followed me, right side, you're going to have one side that feels different than the other, especially on this. So elbow, under shoulder, under ear. My whole palm is flat on the ground. I'm kind of pressing into the ground for support with this whole forearm. Hips are stacked, knees are bent, ankles are in line with hips. I'm lifting my rib cage away from the floor, pulling this shoulder away from my ear. You are almost squeezing your shoulder blades together. It's kind of sensation of shoulder blade pulling away from the ground. Hand can come to belly. Hand can come to side. Couple big deep breaths here. Trying to still get that same expansion into the belly, into the sides, and into the low back. So if you want to do your double inhale. To help feel that expansion. You guys feel one side easier than the other? This side is much easier for me. My non-dominant side. This, just this position, breathing in this position, and then the movements that we can do out of this position are phenomenal for making sure or helping facilitate that the abs are closing and cinching together in the front. They have to expand and they have to stretch during pregnancy to make room for your little human. And then postpartum, part of core healing is for them to cinch back together. So if you have an abdominal injury or you've had a baby, just breathing in this position can be very helpful for bringing your abdominals back together, essentially healing a diastasis recti. I'm just checking our time here. I'm gonna flip my camera back. Any questions about that side? Oops, this is why. Sorry, giving everybody a headache. All right, come back to this, the seat, the position that we started in. Whatever feels comfortable. Grab my ball. All right, how do you feel? That was 40 minutes. That went by fast, didn't it? All right, close your eyes if you feel so comfortable. You can put one hand on your chest, one hand on your belly. You can put your hands on your knees. I don't want you to think about your breathing. I just want you to breathe. It can be in and out through your nose. We can use your mouth. We're gonna finish with the 5 senses. So in the spirit of having a conversation with your body, if you're like, I don't know what she's talking about. How do we do that? How do I listen? We can use our external 5 senses to guide us into more introspection, tapping into the senses where we're taking note of what's going on inside of our body. This is a really powerful tool to use when you're pregnant and when you're in labor. So with your eyes closed, I want you to think about, what do you hear right now? What are you hearing besides my voice? Maybe the hum of an air conditioner or some birds chirping outside. Be as detailed as possible with these answers in your head. What do you hear right now? What do you see right now? Might be a trick question. Your eyes might be closed. What do you smell right now? What do you taste right now? Coffee, toothpaste. What do you feel right now outside of your body? So do you feel the bounce of the ball underneath your butt? Do you feel the carpet? Do you feel a sweatshirt? Do you feel your clothes?
What do you feel from a physical standpoint happening in your body right now? And then what do you feel from a heart space, emotional? You feel tired, you feel energized, you feel tense, you feel, I don't put words in your mouth. But what do you feel? What do you feel has 3 components to it? You can use this exercise to help guide you into a little bit more of what we call introspection, tapping in and having this conversation with your body. Okay. Lovely. I'm going to stop that recording.